Money's in the bag. Over there.
Hands on your head! Pick the gun up. It was your job to cover me in there, and you did nothing. Count your money, Rensselaer.
Didn't see that bloody bike, did I? He did. That's on the pavement in the blink of an eye.
2 men are dead in there. You shot to kill.
Yes. Whoever they were, Brett.
The KGB doesn't use amateurs, Samson.
Well, we were set up again.
By which party?
I have no idea.
It's 5 o'clock in the morning, Samson. I haven't much idea either, but I'm damn well going to need some ideas by the time the telephone starts ringing at 8.
4 fired, 2 dead.
That's rather decisive.
A man came through the door with a sawn-off shotgun.
And you shot him?
I was shooting in self-defense.
Not anger.
He was holding a sawn-off shotgun, Morgan. I did not have time to ask him if he was using it as a walking stick.
You're quite sure shots were fired at you?
It's something you tend to be aware of, Morgan.
Were any shots fired at Mr. Rensselaer?
Nope.
Shots were fired at Mr. Stennis, but no attempt made on Mr. Rensselaer.
What the hell was Stennis doing there in the first place?
Part of the master plan.
Whose?
Rensselaer's. If you hadn't killed them, we might have found out who was using them.
The evening paper has called it armed robbery, but made a great mystery of who shot the 2 men. They're not going to leave it there. Neither is Downing Street.
File it under Irish and hope for the best. Cabinet ministers would buy a dead sheep.
And the Cabinet Office?
We'll have to wait for the report of Brett's Joint Committee.
Is that still to be chaired by Mr. Rensselaer?
You do seem to have become a protagonist, rather.
You mean, Dickie, I am under suspicion? Perhaps I should remind you
We are all under suspicion. Mr. Stinnes has now provoked 2 incidents which have resulted in total disaster. I will not be held responsible for the damage done by a defector whose bona fides we must now seriously question.
But I thought it was Mr. Stinnes they nearly killed.
It is quite impossible at the moment to know what was meant to have happened. That will be one of the tasks of this joint committee. Precisely.
Brett is a bit twitchy.
So would you be if you just watched somebody choke to death with a bullet in his lung?
He bottled out, didn't he?
It happens to all of us, Dickie.
Well, I think that's rather a massive generalization. What do you think was meant to happen last night?
I have no idea.
I just feel Brett was trying rather too hard back in there.
He was fighting for his life.
Takes the heat off you, Bernard.
Don't be a bloody fool, Dickie.
For Christ's sake, Bernard, you were the one who blew the whistle on him in the first place.
Yeah, so you and Morgan were pretty damn quick to gang up on him. All very predictable, isn't it? Don't you wonder why?
Fiona?
A few well-chosen incidents and hints planted by Stinnes. We're already halfway to taking Brett out at sunrise and shooting him.
Hello. What happened?
No sleep, that's all.
People were saying today that 2 men were killed last night.
People aren't supposed to know anything about it.
They're saying you were there.
People are saying too much.
Why won't you tell me? Don't you trust me?
Look, Gloria, if I don't tell you things, it's because certain things are not meant to be told.
Will I come home with you tonight?
Werner's arriving.
So? What, do you sleep with him?
Special delivery. What's up with you?
I've been shooting people.
God, I didn't even know their names.
What difference would that make?
Nice to know you've killed.
If I was in your situation, I'd rather not know.
Bingo, go, 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 go.
It only makes sense if you came in thinking Brett was Stinnes.
You mean the shotgun through the car window was meant for Brett? Maybe they were springing Stinnes to take him back home. Instead of which, everyone in London now thinks that Brett set the whole thing up to get rid of Stinnes before he told the debriefers that Brett was a Soviet agent.
And what about this cabinet memo from Harry Hinks?
Oh.
If Brett didn't leak it, who did?
Cabinet Office have got a list half a page long of people who've seen that particular version.
So somehow or other, copy gets back to Fiona and she decides to use it to frame Brad. So why blast him off inside a car with a sawn-off shotgun?
Because last night might not have been Fiona.
Pavel Moskvin? Working on his own?
Against Fiona.
What are they going to be asking me tomorrow?
Oh, they'll be asking about Mexico. About your contact with Stinnes in East Berlin.
Zena's contact domain.
Oh, they'll also be asking you about our business at Christmas.
Why?
As a Miller woman. She was the one who came up with the 2 codes.
One of the BFV men thinks he's found her.
Are you sure? Is he sure?
He was at the party. Helped us pick her up. He knows what she looks like. I'm going over to see for myself. Someone has to talk to her. Find out if she was a plant.
You're not going over. That's an order.
Like waiting for the dentist, Samson.
Ready when you are, sir.
Thank you. Excuse me.
I'd like to suggest, through the chair, that we ask Mr. Sampson first to listen to Mr. Stinnes' cross-examination before we ask him to answer any questions himself.
Any particular reason not to take the agenda in order?
Yes, 3 reasons. The first is that I'm quite sure Sampson's cross-examination will prove more valuable as a comment on whatever's been said. Second, that it's bound to go on for longer than a single day. And the third, and consequential, is that Stinnes is quite clearly a security risk and ought to be back in Berwick House as soon as possible.
I'd like, for admin reasons, to agree with that suggestion. In the light of what has recently happened, Stinnes' presence here in London is tying up no less than 7 security men. And by this evening, they will, of course, be on overtime. Mr. Stinnes?
The information I gave about Oxford was entirely factual. Mr. Sampson will confirm that I was extremely surprised when he told me about the business of breaking in.
Surprised by what in particular?
The fact that such a break-in would force all members of the so-called quorum into hiding for a period of time. Sufficient for the KGB to establish entirely new methods of communication. Meaning that my information, very carefully brought to you, could not be used in a way that could have resulted.
You mean deliberately sabotaged?
I don't know. I know nothing about how it happened or who ordered it to happen. All I know is that the 2 major blocks of intelligence I brought you have been either ignored or misused.
The second being...
Kaleidoscope, we call it. Means and methods of communication. Like, for example, the secondary contact procedures for the Oxford Quorum, which you used, I have to say, unwisely the other night at the laundrette.
Can we have just one question on this last point, please? We really do have to cover ground. Barrett?
I'd like to know more about this kaleidoscope.
A series of small informations, out of which one can draw patterns. For example, the embassy codes here in London, or...
You gave us the embassy codes?
I gave them almost as soon as I arrived. They're only valid a few months. I imagine they will be changed at the end of this month, if procedures are as normal.
I've seen or heard nothing about embassy codes.
Perhaps the chair would like to establish exactly when this information was divulged.
I told Mr. Rensselaer 2 months ago.
That is most manifestly untrue. I think this whole game of charge and countercharge is becoming, to say the least, overheated and inaccurate. I think perhaps it would be advisable to adjourn for lunch.
To keep the children at my mother's for an extra couple of days, all right?
Where are you going? You're going to Berlin, aren't you? For God's sake, why? Haven't I got the right to know anything? I could have arranged about the children. Why does Tessa have to do it?
Because Tessa is their aunt.
Go on, I'm just your weekend tart. Perhaps you'd give me a lift. I need to collect my things.
Werner is going over the wall for me.
And you have to be there to hold his hand?
I have to warn him that he's probably walking into a trap.
Yes, well, you can pick up the telephone and do that.
Gloria, I've known Werner for a very long time, like he was my brother. I got him into this.
Bernard, you're skipping a department meeting and you have no travel permit. They're going to crucify you. And don't worry, I'm not going to tell them where you've gone. Bernie, there's just too much of your life where you're not prepared to let me belong. Perhaps there's too much of your life where nobody belongs.
That's the price you pay for having to have too many secrets.
Bernie, I love you. But I am not prepared to bleed to death waiting while you make up your mind what limited part of your life you're going to share with me.
to stop you going east. So what do you want to do? Hold my hand? Listen, idiot. I'm not doing this for London Central, and I'm not doing it for myself.
Ihr seid ja wahnsinnig geworden und passt doch ein bisschen auf.
Du ärger dich doch nicht so.
Was heißt denn ärgern? Was Blödes.
And if Brett goes down, you can be damn sure you'll go with him.
I don't want you to go.
Too bloody late, isn't it? You should have thought about that before you dragged us in so deep. You can hardly go over yourself, can you?
You know how cold it is outside. You won't be warm enough. You should be wearing your heavy coat.
He's all right, Liesl. If he catches cold, he's got a nice young wife to keep him warm in bed tonight.
Liesl is not stupid. I know very well that he's not going home to his wife. Werner always dresses like a peasant when he goes east. And it is not the time to go east these days. He knows. And that's why he's nervous.
He's not nervous.
When were you last east, Liesl?
Werner, take care of yourself if you go. Because Liesl loves you.
Tschüss, Liesl.
Bye-bye.
Damn woman. She has made me frightened. And it's my back garden I'm going into.
I didn't know how to get in without showing myself. Boats and trains, I'm afraid. The old way out, eh?
Does anyone else know you're here? Come on, then.
They were stacked against me, weren't they? I've been with the company for 29 years. I mean, how can they do it? Some freelance cowboy walks in off a Russian street, they take his word against mine.
Why come to me, Brett?
Because you know Stinnes wasn't telling the truth. He never gave those embassy codes to anyone. unless he gave them to you.
No, he didn't give them to me.
You do believe he didn't give them to me? Don't you? Jesus Christ, Bernard, you're the one person who can see he was lying.
Why?
Well, you had your finger on his pulse. You saw him in there. He had MI5 eating out of his hand.
Yes, a few others, too.
There was a squad from Case 7 ripping my house to pieces by the time they got me home.
They find anything?
Papers in a suitcase. Papers I'd never seen before. It's not difficult to plant stuff in a house like mine.
Are you saying Case 7 planted them?
No. No, they were slipped in there by whoever's stringing Stinnes. Jesus Christ, Bernard. He even had a phone he could use those days he spent in London.
If K7 were in your house, how did you manage to get away?
Well, I'm not entirely incompetent. There's always a way out of your own house.
They'll know you've come here, Brett. Either way, innocent or guilty, you had to come to Berlin.
What do I do, Bernard?
Turn yourself in?
Would you?
Suppose I turned you in.
You wouldn't do that.
What makes you so sure?
Because you believe me. And because you're a cynical son of a bitch. You'd rather take the rest of them on single-handed than let them win a wrong decision. Where's Volkman?
Oh, don't worry, I didn't manage to stop him going.
They've got Werner. Jeff! He was over there for London Central. It's our obligation to get him back.
He was over there for you.
Says who?
You're the only reason Werner would ever walk into a trap like that.
It sounds like Zena talking.
I'm sorry about all these. I have to evaluate from shipping and insurance, would you believe? Every single record Ellington ever cut.
They've got Werner, Frank.
Brett's done a bunk. Like your theory of attempted suicide. Running away might signify guilt.
And why don't you talk to him yourself? Then you can make up your own mind. He's outside your house.
What are you cooking up now, laddie? I have no intention of losing my pension for some harebrained scheme to save your school chum.
We used to hold hands in the pram, Frank.
Oh.
It goes back a lot longer than school. Fiona snatched Werner because she half believes that I'll do some kind of deal about the kids to get him back.
Your kids? You wouldn't.
I don't know what I'd do. Which is why it's up to you and me to see that we don't get ourselves that far.
So?
You get a couple of your Berlin hoods to go to Berwick House with the requisite piece of bump and a plane standing by at Bryce Norton, and they ask politely for Erich Stinnes.
Swap Stinnes for Borkman. London Central will never agree.
Which is why we're not asking them. You have authority to act on your own, Frank. By the time they find out, it'll be too late.
Make a deal with Moscow?
When they find one of their agents is in trouble, they'll move mountains to get him out. We abandon ours.
Werner Volkmann isn't even on the payroll.
After working for us for 30 years, no wonder we find it hard to recruit.
You never seem to care, do you? Who are your friends or enemies?
If I do have friends, I know what I would expect of them if I was in real trouble. You and Brett are meant to be buddies. Don't you think it's time you asked him in for a drink? I'm sure he'll take care not to tread on any of your Duke Ellingtons.
Come on. He's been arrested, Sam. Only detained. I'm quite sure we'll be able to get him out.
All his life, he risks his life for you. And you had to send him one more time too many.
It was his idea to go.
But you knew he would go. That's your lie. You use him. And you pretend. Your wife will end up destroying many lives. She holds Werner because she wants her children.
My children, Sena.
Bit.
Hey.
Can I say what I mean?
We need to set up a meeting in a hurry, Harry.
Who's we?
Yours not to reason who, Harry. Don't worry, you'll get paid. You got your computer switched on?
Shoot away.
Stinnes was fed to us. I want Moscow to know we've blown him. I want you to tell them, Harry, that we're holding Stinnes in a hard room and we're kicking the shit out of him.
You want me to say you personally are involved?
You tell them that Bernie Sampson is personally, slowly kicking Stinnes to death. To level the scores for when he held me in Norman and Strasse last year.
They're not gonna like you if I tell them that.
Don't need to be liked, Harry. They just have to understand it has to be done in a hurry.
What's the deal?
They're holding Werner.
Borkman?
If they ever want to see Stinnes alive and in one piece again, that's the deal.
Werner für Stinnes.
They've got to believe I'm bleeding the guy. Do you want the money now or later?
Always best now. Just in case someone thinks you're nasty enough to put a bullet in your spine.
Can't walk through the checkpoint with it, Harry.
I'll find a way of hiding it. I walk through it Friedrichstrasse every day to do my research.
Oh, really, Harry? Harry. Moscow. It is important to me. Harry called from Warsaw, Frank.
Warsaw?
It's halfway to Moscow. Fiona gets her orders tonight.
Where's it to be?
A lawyer's office off the Potsdamer Strasse.
Bernard?
How can we handle this?
Well, what the hell's being decided here?
Logistics, Dickie.
All this fuss.
You have a time element to contend with, as we've indicated. Round this table on this side, we're all still London Central. But MI5, K7, internal security, and whoever else is in on the ride are already in the city and knocking on doors. If Mr. Stinch gets into their hands, there'll be no more talk of exchanges.
And let's be quite clear why we're here. If Brett goes back to London with Stinners and your claim of valued defector, Brett's going to find himself up in front of the DPP with a list of questions he's got no answers for. State prosecutor, Colonel.
Colonel?
We're not here to waste time, Bernard. We're here to discuss the fate of Major Stinners, a good and loyal comrade who was shamelessly kidnapped. Your Werner Volkmann is on the bridge. Bernard, you'll show Miss Stinners. Nothing happens till I see him.
We shouldn't get sentimental in this business, Samson. Get on with your Werner. I want to go.
You have 5 kilometers to work out how to do it. But somewhere along the road, there's going to be an interruption. You'll just have to take your chances from there. Now, let me give you the running score, Bernard, under the name of Pavel Moskvin. Mackenzie, the shootout in Mexico City, and those 2 in the laundrette. And on the field side, he's in charge of this operation here today. And he has no intention of releasing Werner. And if he can take you and Brett as a bonus, well, then he'll be even happier. If you want to see Werner walk over that bridge, then you'll just have to remove Moskvin before we even get there.
You want me to be the man that starts World War III?
How are the children?
They miss you.
allow me to kill Moskvin on my own.
How's Brett?
He'll survive. Well, here we are, together. There's no one to hear us. Nothing to say.
Werner's all right. Well, what do we do? Shake hands?
Nothing.
Bernie?